أهلا وسهلا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the Enriching Talks with Hafsa. And today's episode is the sixth episode, alhamdulillah, of these talks. So welcome everybody. Let's start with our dua. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma. May Allah make this beneficial. And yes, this month we've had two talks, mashallah. One was a special episode last week. The last episode was a special one because of Aisha al-Hajjaj's visit in Kuwait. So if you have missed out on that, it's available on the YouTube where this one would be updated and uploaded as well. All right, so after a very warm welcome and our du'as and the renewing of our intentions that we are here to inshallah learn and benefit from this session, I'm going to start with introducing myself because mashallah, as always, we always grow as a family together. So my name is Hafsa Qureshi. I am a birth and lactation and newborn care specialist. You can see all my qualifications here. I have been in this field and journey for the last 12 years. Alhamdulillah. I am helping moms globally through their pregnancy journey, birth, postpartum, and beyond. Now I'm a certified advanced childbirth educator, an advanced doula, lactation professional, lactation trainer, newborn care specialist, a mother, alhamdulillah, mother of three, and a sister to many, many blessed mamas that have joined me in this journey in the last 12 years. So it is something I do out of utmost passion. I do teach specialized workshops and courses, but I thought to start these series of talks monthly, just so to have something that is inspiring and something that we want to connect. So what's the mission and vision behind these talks? So the mission and vision behind these talks is that, first of all, it's not your usual talk show, right? These these sessions, the purpose of them is to fill your all the mothers' needs and stuff to be able to give them inspiration, share birth stories, give them motivation, perhaps some miracle stories, giving them the support, specialized topics that I think can and wherever I feel they can be beneficial, all of that, inshallah. So that's the mission and vision behind it all, bi'idhnillah. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce today's speaker. So I try to invite a speaker at every talk of ours. So today I have Nahid Khilji with me. And I was planning to do this session for a while, honestly. I do have a specialized workshop on breastfeeding in Ramadan. That is one of my favorite signature workshops, and mashallah, mashallah, it just happened last week. And it was amazing attendance, and the support groups are going on amazing. And I really look forward to working those moms throughout the month of Ramadan. But then I had moms message me that, Hafsa, what about those that are pregnant? And I was like, yeah, well, I should do a session. And then I said, well, how about I make it a talk, right? And then, subhanAllah, it just so happened that Nahid had contacted me sometime around then that she wants to collaborate. And I was like, wow, excellent timing. And mashallah, her expertise, totally in line with this as well. So she was on board, mashallah, and it was something that she had recently been working on as well. So who is Nahid? Nahid, she is a consulting dietitian. If you don't know Health Hatch, you're missing out. Do check them out. She is one of the co-founders of Health Hatch, helping moms transform their fitness and health journeys. She is also a fitness expert, something I think someone I know I need in my life, alhamdulillah. She does have a specialization in diabetes, and you can see so many achievements she has down there. Like, she's authored some books, she's acknowledged books, she's worked on healthy recipes, she's worked with specialized cases, all those things that you can see listed on the screen up here. And mashallah, she's here in Kuwait. And I was like, okay, I found the perfect person, alhamdulillah, to talk about this. So this is mostly targeted towards our expectant mamas, or maybe someone you know who is pregnant and they want to know about how to make the decision whether should they fast or not, what can help them if they decide to fast as well. And of course, just going to give a little bit. I'm going to at the end as well, I'll talk about it a bit. I want each of you mamas to know, those of you that are pregnant and Ramadan is starting in what? Less than 10 days. Inshallah, Allahumma balighna Ramadan. You are in a state of ibadah throughout. The fact that you're carrying this baby, wahn ala wahn, right? It's mentioned in the Quran. So you being pregnant throughout Ramadan itself is a huge fact of you reaping rewards, right? And Allah has given you the ease, right? That if you can't, if there is risk of you causing any harm to yourself or your baby because of fasting, because of um not being able to give yourself the right nutrients and your baby the right nutrients, because this little baby that you have is this is our beautiful placenta. And this placenta, which is embedded in the uterus, is causing all that beautiful exchange of nutrients happening, which is going to the baby connected with the umbilical cord, right? So the baby is getting all the nutrients and the baby doesn't know if it's fasting time or what, right? So this constant delivery of nutrition is very, very important. So while the breastfeeding part is an easier one to determine and distinguish because you can observe the signs in the baby immediately and yourself immediately, pregnancy is somewhere that we need to take more caution and to make more informed decisions. And for this, we need to have the right knowledge to do so. So keep an open mind as you listen to Nahid. And yes, you can ask your questions. Start sending your questions in the chat as she's going through, and she can answer them at the end. So sit with an open mind that I'm here to gain the knowledge to help me decide if I can fast or not. Recite the istikhara dua so that may Allah open your heart and help you make that decision, inshallah. Okay? So no one can tell you yes or no. You are the best judge of yourself and your family. Always remember that. So many moms come to me, Hafsa, I'm breastfeeding. Can I fast or not? Hafsa, I'm pregnant. Can I fast or not? I cannot tell you, and no one can. Even your doctor cannot say yes or no. You are the best judge. The ease from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is if it's harming you or your baby. Now, how can it harm you? What are the signs? Well, this is what we're going to discuss today. So Nahid, I am going to now make you the co-host and give you the access to share your screen so you can go ahead and, where are you, Nahid? Let me pull you up. Start introducing yourself and share your screen. No, sorry, I promoted the wrong person. Hang on. Did I miss you? There is Nahid. There are you. Oops, wait 1 second. Give me a second, something keeps happening. Inshallah, there's so many people in here. Okay, so let me stop sharing so that you can share your screen and then over to you, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Am I audible?
You are. We can hear your beautiful voice, mashallah.
All right. So first things, thank you for the beautiful introduction. So my goal is to provide you all with accurate information to help you make informed decisions during this special time. And today we are going to discuss a topic that is significant for many expecting mothers. Okay. Now, first thing is, we have to understand the importance of right nutrition. Now, it's crucial to understand the importance of proper right nutrition during pregnancy, because balanced nutrition during this period not only supports the mother's health, but also significantly impacts the baby's development. Okay. So the first point says supports fetal growth and development. Now, adequate nutrition, the nutrients that you eat, the food that you eat, ensures the proper formation of organs and tissues, which actually lays a strong foundation for a healthy life, for a healthy baby, right? So you need to ensure the food that you're eating is of good quality, is balanced, so that It will help in development of the fetal growth and growth and development. Second is to prevent birth defects. Now, sufficient intake of essential vitamins, especially folate, helps in preventing neural tube defects and other congenital abnormalities. So, if you're expecting, especially like before, we normally advise before conception, at least 3 months prior to your you plan to conceive, you need to have like a proper folate supplement, and even during the first trimester you should continue your folate supplement, so ensure that there is no birth defects. Third is to reduce pregnancy complications. Now, proper nutrition minimizes the risk like gestational diabetes, hypertension, preeclampsia, hyperthyroidism also. Fourth is to support maternal health. A balanced diet actually boosts maternal immunity. It helps in reducing fatigue, which is quite common in the first trimester. It helps in mother maintain an overall well-being. Now, any mother who is having an improper nutrition or not having sufficient nutrients are more at risk, especially like certain nutrients like vitamin D and omega-3. They are also related to your brain health, not just your baby, but also your brain health. So postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety is also associated with what you eat during pregnancy. So the kind of food that you're eating will also affect not just your baby right now and you right now, but also postpartum. So it's important to have the right nutrition. It also helps in promoting healthy birth weight. Now, ensuring the right amount of calories and nutrients, it helps in achieving a healthy birth weight for the baby. Second thing is boosting immunity. A nutrient-rich diet, it helps in strengthening both the mother's and the baby's immune system, protecting them from infections. Also, it reduces the risk of chronic diseases. Now, there are ample amount of research papers which have shown that proper nutrition lowers the baby's risk of developing chronic diseases like diabetes and heart diseases later in life. What you eat right now will affect your baby after they are born, after, maybe say when they're 8 years or 9 years or 10 years. So what you eat now also affects your baby later on. Then is to enhance brain development. Omega-3 fatty acids and other essential nutrients are vital for the baby's brain and cognitive development. Ninth point is to prevent nutritional deficiencies. A well-balanced diet helps in preventing anemia, calcium deficiency, and other nutrition deficiency that can affect both the mother and the baby. The last point is, of course, as I mentioned, about maternal mental health. The right nutrition positively impacts the mother's mood and mental health, reducing the risk of prenatal and postnatal depression and anxiety. Now, this is an important aspect that we all need to understand. There are certain nutrients which plays a very significant role during pregnancy because it affects directly, to your growing baby and, not just your baby, but also for you. Now, in the first trimester, there are certain nutrients which are very, very important. And as the trimester changes, the nutritional needs also changes along with that. So the first trimester includes folate. It is very important for neural tube development. Deficiency of folate can cause neural tube defects. It also helps in early formation of the brain and spinal cord. And what are the sources of folate? You have green leafy vegetables, you have beans, you have nuts, seeds, eggs, bananas. Nowadays, you also have a lot of fortified cereals, which have a folate in them. So these are the common sources of folate that you can include in your diet. Another important nutrient that is needed in the first trimester is vitamin B6. Now, this helps in reducing nausea and morning sickness. Now, what are the sources of vitamin B6? You have chicken, you have fish, you have eggs, grains, nuts, seeds, dairy products. Third and the most important is hydration. Now, hydration is important for forming amniotic fluid and helps in reducing fatigue and constipation. In fact, in the first trimester, constipation is very common, and a lot of my clients who I've dealt with have had severe constipation throughout the pregnancy. And lack of water is one of the key and important factor that affects your digestive health. So if your water intake is not adequate, you're more prone to have constipation. So hydration is important, not just for your development of the amniotic fluid, but it is also for improving your digestion, to improve your entire digestive system. Now, the second trimester, the three important nutrients that plays a significant role is protein, calcium, and iron. Also to note, in the first trimester, your caloric requirement doesn't change. It's the same. The second and the third trimester is when both the calories and the protein, and of course, calcium and iron increases by 500 calorie. The protein also increases by 10-20%. Now, protein is important because it helps in developing the fetal growth, your baby's growth, which includes the muscles and the tissues. So lack of protein during the second trimester can cause, certain abnormalities. So ensure that you have good amount of protein. And what are the sources of protein? You have chicken, you have eggs, you have fish, you have meat, dairy products. For anyone who is not into non-vegetarian options, you can go for vegetarian options like paneer. You have yogurt. Nowadays, you have yogurt which have good amount of protein in it. You also have tofu, you have soya chunks, soya beans. So you can try to include all these high protein options. And the protein option has to be on a daily basis. Now, protein requirement doesn't mean that, okay, once in a while you take it and you're sorted. You need protein on a day-to-day basis. So you have to make sure that your meals are balanced throughout the day and you have good quantity of protein depending on your age, your height, your weight throughout the day. Okay. Second thing is, of course, calcium. You need calcium and iron for both the development and for the bone development. And of course, as the baby is growing, there is an increased blood volume, so to support the baby's growth. So you need to have good amount of iron and calcium for that. Good sources of iron include organ meats, but of course you have to limit vitamin A, because vitamin A toxicity or excess of vitamin A, which is especially found in liver, can affect the baby's development and can cause birth defects. So having too much of organ meat is not advised. A bit of I would say once in 2 weeks or once in a month should be okay, especially if you're looking to improve your iron levels. But apart from that, you have beef, you can have chicken, you can have fishes. Certain fishes also have, you can have a lot of green leafy vegetables along with a bit of vitamin C rich foods, like just squeezing lemon over your green leafy salad or any kind of sabji that you're preparing. That is how you can help in improving your iron store. But you might also need additional supplement for that, but you need to speak to your doctor for that. Another third important trimester, and that's very crucial because our energy levels actually go down, but the requirement is, the requirement keeps on increasing. So you need more calories to support the rapid growth and energy needs. Omega-3, which is very, very important and is to be taken during the third trimester. It helps in the brain development. It helps in the vision development of your baby. So omega-3 sources includes salmon, seaweed. But again, even when you're choosing salmon, you have to choose whether it is a fresh salmon, a wild one, or whether it is a farmed fresh, because during pregnancy, we also need to limit foods which are higher in mercury. It can cause negative impact on the developing fetus. So you have to be very careful in choosing, which I will speak in the next slide. Iron and calcium intake is again important during the third trimester because blood volume increases and the demand and the development of the baby's organs and everything also increases. So you need extra iron and calcium both in the second and the third trimester. Now, here are the foods that you need to avoid during pregnancy. This is important because it's crucial to be mindful of certain foods that could pose risk to both mother and developing baby. Now, again, unpasteurized food, these include certain dairy products. Now, especially like here in Kuwait, we have everything pasteurized, but back in India and Pakistan, we have these milk stores, like where they provide milk. It's not really like pasteurized, it's fresh milk directly coming from the goat, from the cow. That is something to be avoided because they may contain harmful bacteria like Listeria, which can lead to serious complications. So if you want to have dairy product, make sure it has to be unpasteurized. Uh, Again, high mercury fishes. Avoid high mercury fishes such as shark, mackerel, swordfish. High mercury levels can impair the baby's brain development and nervous system. Undercooked and raw food, again, raw meat, poultry, seafood like sushi and all, which can carry harmful bacteria and parasites, increases the risk of foodborne illnesses. Caffeine, if you are a coffee person or a chai person, make sure you don't have more than 2 cups of tea or coffee in a day. Excessive caffeine has linked to an increased risk of miscarriage and low birth weight infants. Certain herbal teas like chamomile, hibiscus, licorice, sage, they all can affect the hormonal levels and can stimulate uterine contractions. High sugary beverages like soft drinks and sodas and all of that, since it has a lot of calories, it can cause excessive weight gain, which also increases your risk of gestational diabetes. So it's best to limit the consumption of sugary fruits and drinks and sodas as much as possible. Then is liver. As I mentioned earlier, liver is nutrient dense, yes, but it is also a very, very good source of vitamin A. Excessive vitamin A intake can cause birth defects, so it should be consumed in moderation, or best to avoid it. Even if you want to have chicken liver or mutton kidney or chicken kidney, make sure you just have once in a month or once in 2 weeks in very less quantity. The quantity is something that you should be very careful about. Now, hydration is very important during pregnancy and every trimester. Of course, it helps in increasing, the demand for your water increases with each trimester. The first trimester is more about supporting the amniotic fluid and nutrient transport, as Hafsa mentioned, through the umbilical cord. It also helps in easing out symptoms like nausea, fatigue, and constipation in the first trimester. First trimester is more about, hormonal changes, which can cause nausea, which can cause digestive health issues. So proper hydration helps in reducing these symptoms and severity of these symptoms. The second trimester is more about maintaining an increased blood volume, and it also helps in reducing swelling and cramps. It also helps in digestion and also helps in preventing constipation. The more water you drink, the stool becomes soft and it is easier for the body to pass out it. But if you're not hydrated enough and you're not drinking enough water, a lot of pregnant women are often seen with hemorrhoids because of constipation. So make sure that the water intake is optimum. The third trimester, it also helps in preterm labor by reducing dehydration-induced contractions. Also helps in easing the Braxton Hicks contraction and maintains energy for, during the labor. Now let's go to effects of fasting. Now, again, every trimester, there are different kind of effects that we see. But as Hafsa mentioned, that it's very subjective and it's a personal choice. Nobody can tell you whether you should be fasting or you should not be fasting. Even the doctors, whom I consulted when I was expecting, they told me the same thing. It's up to you whether you want to fast and how you feel. Now, in the first trimester, it's often seen, and again, the research papers are very contradictory. So you can't, pinpoint and say that, oh, you can't fast or you can fast. Now, there are a lot of research papers which have, a couple of research papers, I would say, which have shown a negative impact, and a couple of research papers have shown no impact at all. So the one that have showed a negative impact was the risk of low birth weight infant. Now, there were a couple of women who were expecting, and when they delivered, they saw that the birth weight was not optimum, especially when they fasted in the first trimester. So the effect of fasting during the first trimester is the risk of having low birth weight infant. Second is, of course, dehydration, because long fasting hours, we're not allowed to drink water. The risk of dehydration increases, and also the risk of UTI. UTI is also very common during pregnancy. So if you're not drinking enough water, you'll be dehydrated. dehydration can cause, and in fact, it can further aggravate your morning sickness and can cause a lot of nausea, and of course, a lot of digestive issues as well. And it also increases your risk of UTI. Again, untreated UTI can also cause infection, so you need to be very careful. Second trimester, of course, nutritional deficiencies are quite common to see during, and especially if you're not having a balanced meal, and if you're not having your suhoor properly, if you're not, having a dinner and your iftar properly, nutritional deficiencies can impact fetal growth and fetal development. There's a lot of fatigue, dizziness, and blood sugar fluctuations, which are quite common to see during the second trimester. Risk of dehydration, of course, mood swings, headaches, and digestive issues are also seen during the second trimester. In the third trimester, to be honest, there was no significant effect on the birth weight. In fact, there were mixed results on, the fetal biometry. Even for the amniotic fluid, there were inconsistent results. So you can't really say, especially in the third trimester, oh, you should fast or you should not fast, because the results are very mixed. You should watch out for how you are feeling in the sense whether you're feeling dizzy, whether you're feeling active, and that's how you can make an informed choice. And of course, you can talk to your doctor regarding that, whether you should fast or you should not fast. But there is no significant effect in terms of negative fetal outcomes seen in the third trimester. Even if it is weight loss or weight gain, it doesn't significantly impact your baby's development in the third trimester. Now, in case if you plan to fast, here are the quick do's and don'ts that you need to practice. As first is to stay hydrated, especially during the non-fasting hours, by drinking plenty of water. Now, I remember one of my gynae gave me this idea that you need to change your entire circadian rhythm if you plan to fast. That is, you can sleep in the morning and, you just have a couple of hours left, until the iftar time. And that's something that can be manageable. So from your fasting hours, from the time you open your fast till the suhoor time, make sure you're very, very well hydrated. You drink enough water so that you don't have dehydration. And how would you know whether you're dehydrated or not? Is by seeing the color of your urine. If your urine is extremely yellow, that means you're severely dehydrated. If you're not passing enough urine, that's also a sign of dehydration. So you should make sure that you don't go to that level where you're dehydrated, because that will definitely affect negatively, especially to your growing baby. Balanced meals at suhoor and iftar, it's very, very important. Avoiding foods which are extremely high in sugar, extremely high in carbs and fats and deep fried, you have to avoid, because it's not just about the taste buds, but we are looking at a bigger picture here. Extremely high fatty foods can not just cause digestive issues, but it can also cause weight gain. Excess of weight gain can cause gestational diabetes, hypertension, which again can have a negative impact on your baby. So there's no direct relationship. It can cause weight gain can cause diabetes, and diabetes can cause sugar fluctuation and development, negative impact on your fetal development. Second thing is, of course, to get plenty of rest. While we are fasting, we don't want to expend a lot of energy. So make sure you get ample amount of rest if you plan to fast. Don't do too much of physical activity here and there, lifting heavy objects. Try to conserve your energy while in that fasting state as much as possible. The don'ts is, of course, avoid having high sugar and high caffeine foods. When not to fast, again, there are a couple of I would say situations where you shouldn't be fasting as per the research papers, because women who have gestational diabetes, now if your fasting is more than 95, or if your post hour sugar is more than 140, you should avoid fasting, because it can cause either hypoglycemia, or when you open your fast, it can directly shoot your sugar levels, which is again not good. You need to have a balanced sugar level throughout the day. The number of spikes that we keep seeing for women who have diabetes, especially pregnant women, the more number of spikes you see, the spikes in the sense hyperglycemia, or the lows, that is your hypoglycemia, both are not good for the growing baby. So you need to ensure that your fasting levels are between 70 to 95, and your post meal after 1 hour should be less than 140. I think I did a mistake over there. It's less than 140. It's not more than 140. Preeclampsia. Women are often, especially after the 20th week of the pregnancy, hypertension is quite commonly seen. So you need to make sure that your blood pressure doesn't go above. If your blood pressure is more than 140/90, it's not advisable to fast. You should ensure that your blood pressure should be between 120 to 180, not more than that. Okay, even if you have hypertension during your pregnancy, your blood pressure should not go beyond 120 to 120 by 180, 120 by 80. If you have anemia, which is less than 9 points, again, it's not advisable to fast. It can further cause more damage. It's advisable to, have like iron-rich foods throughout the day along with your vitamin C. And also, one more thing is, if you are taking any iron supplement, or if you're having any food which is rich in iron, make sure that you're not clubbing it with a calcium-rich food, or food like tea or coffee, because the tannins and the calcium which is present in the milk can affect your absorption, your iron absorption. So even if you're taking your supplement, and if you're having calcium, or if you're having milk along with that, the iron is not going to get absorbed in the body. So make sure that you have at least 1 hour of gap between your iron supplement or your iron rich foods, along with whatever other food like tea or coffee or milk that you're consuming. Women who have a history of preterm birth or low birth weight infant. Yeah. Yeah. So history of preterm birth, women who have a history of preterm birth or low birth weight infant should not fast. Also symptoms like dizziness and fatigue and dehydration. The moment you feel, even while you're fasting, the moment you feel that you're feeling a bit dizzy, or you feel like there's going to be a blackout, immediately have a glass of water and you can break your fast. And what to eat when you're opening your fast? Of course, women with no medical issue, of course, you start with one small date, a water, and non-fried items, because we don't want to have an excess weight gain also. So non-fried items could be anything: kebabs, tandoori chicken, or anything. Even if you want to have samosas, you can air fry it, or you can break it. And of course, you need to have a lot of fruits and vegetables to make sure that your hydration is maintained after you're opening your fast. For women with gestational diabetes and with a proper blood sugar control, first is to, of course, start with water. They need to keep their carbohydrate as less as possible. As I mentioned, the carbohydrate, the sugar levels should not go above 140 after 1 hour of your food consumption, and fasting should not be more than 95. So even if your sugars are under control, you still need to have less amount of carb, because your body has a tendency to have an increased blood sugar levels. And of course, you need to have more protein in the diet and more fat and good fiber, so that the sugar levels are balanced and the energy level is also maintained. Women with preeclampsia, water is important, because that will help in making sure that the blood flow is good enough. Potassium rich foods help in reducing your blood pressure. So potassium rich foods includes your vegetables, your green leafy vegetables, berries and oranges and avocados and peaches. So all your fruits and vegetables have good amount of potassium. Also yogurt, milk, dairy, they're rich in potassium, so you can have those. You can have yogurt and smoothies for your iftar and for suhoor. Healthy fats like nuts, Brazil nuts, different kind of seeds you can include. Protein, as I mentioned earlier, different kind of meats, lean meats, of course. Eggs are a good option for iftar. And of course, decaffeinated beverages. We tend to avoid caffeine for women who have preeclampsia, because having too much of caffeine can also increase the blood pressure. So these are the things that you need to take care, especially if you have hypertension or if you are detected with preeclampsia. Anemia, anyone who suffers from anemia should have like green leafy salads. At least two servings of salad should be there, one in iftar and one maybe in dinner, with a good amount of like quinoa. You have different kind of beans. Squeeze some lemon on it so that the vitamin C will help in absorbing your iron. Nuts and seeds, of course, almonds. You have walnuts. You have Brazil nuts. You have pistas. Try to include at least 1 to 2 servings of seeds or nuts in the diet for iftar or for suhoor. Beef is again one of the very good sources of iron. So you can have beef keema or keema samosa, or a beef in any form that you like. So these are the things that you should be taking care of, especially when you are opening your fast. Hydration is very, very, very important. So the moment you feel that you're feeling a bit dizzy or your pressure is going down, you need to have you need to just break your fast there, and you need to ensure that you don't go into dehydration. Monitor your fetal development if you are in your second or your third trimester, and if you can notice the development of your fetus and movement of your fetus, try to monitor that, so at least you can make out if the baby is moving, how the baby moves regularly when you're not fasting. That's a sign that okay, the baby is getting enough nutrients, and the baby is you're not dehydrated. But if you see no movements, please consult your doctor and do a checkup, because we don't want to fast at the cost of impacting our own health and our baby's health. So these are the few things that you can take care of, especially if you decide to fast. And of course, if you have any more questions regarding to fasting, you can let me know. I'm open to any questions and doubts you have.
Thank you, Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, Nahid. Honestly, you really put it together, and mashallah, the research and everything has kind of solidified the knowledge. And I hope it's beneficial for the moms in order for them to make the decision to fast, inshallah. Now, I am just going to go through some of the questions that have come up. Ladies, if you have other questions, start typing them now, so that inshallah I'm gonna say them out and you can answer them, inshallah. So the first question is Samra asking, I've done fasting in 7 months twice, but this time she's 38 weeks. Should she fast or not?
Again, see, it's subjective how you are feeling. If you feel that you can manage it, you can try it for 1 or 2 days. But if you feel fatigued, or if you're feeling dehydrated, and if you don't see any kind of fetal movements, then it's best not to fast. You can make up for the missed fast, inshallah, after Ramadan, but not at the cost of your baby's development. Because third week, although there are no significant researches which have shown a negative impact on the fetal growth, but it's a personal choice, to be honest. You need to see how you are feeling. You need to see whether you have any kind of dehydration symptom, or if you see, as I mentioned, urine is the clear indication of dehydration. If your urine is extremely yellow and dark, that means you're dehydrated, and you should make sure either you rectify your water intake, or you should stop fasting.
Yeah, and I think at 38 weeks, it's very significant. I mean, you can easily monitor your baby's movements. So,
Right.
rule of thumb that I usually tell moms to know, like in general, regardless of fasting or not, is that you're looking at 10 movements in 2 hours. If you feel, and also your instinct, trust your motherly instinct. You should know kind of that, okay, it's normal for my baby not to be moving so much at a certain time, but the rest of the time they're fine. If you feel something's different, you are the best judge of that. Okay? So I hope that would help you. The next question is by Sauda. Which fish is safe in pregnancy?
Okay, so there are certain fishes that definitely needs to be avoided. One is wild tuna or canned tuna. I would say just avoid anything which is canned. Canned tuna, mackerel, shark, swordfish are the common fishes that needs to be avoided. Rest you can have like sardines. You can have pomfret. You can have lobsters, oysters, shrimps, like other fishes. These are typically The higher mercury fishes that is found in the ocean that you need to avoid. One is shark, one is swordfish, mackerel, tuna, any kind of canned fishes for that matter.
Jazakallah. Seema's saying it is hard to get salmon in Pakistan. Any other omega-3 rich foods you'd suggest?
See, there are different kind of omega-3. Okay, there is DHA and there is ALA. Now, ALA is a plant-based omega-3, which you will find in flax seeds, you'll find in chia seeds. But DHA is typically found only in fishes because that's the main source of omega-3. And certain seaweeds also have. Now, again, mackerel is also one of the good omega-3 fishes, but we need to avoid because of the high mercury content. If salmon is not available, then I would say any prenatal supplement which has omega-3 would be good enough, because salmon and tuna both are rich in omega-3. So if you're not able to get that in Pakistan, then better to have a supplement.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much. Rumaisa is asking, how is walnuts in omega-3?
Yeah, so walnut is also a plant-based omega-3, right? As I mentioned. Typically for pregnancy in the third trimester, DHA is considered to be more important because that helps in the development of your brain and the vision. ALA is not really associated that much with the development of brain. So if you're looking from the DHA point of view, walnuts are not a good source of DHA, rather they are a good source of ALA.
Interesting. All right. Can we discuss diet requirements and plan during Ramadan for each trimester? Okay, she's done that. Is there anything specific you would recommend per trimester, Nahid?
See, as I mentioned earlier, it's more about nutrients and, of course, the calories. Now, it's very subjective because it depends from person to person. So, women who are, for example, underweight, they still have the capacity to gain an extra kg, or maybe say even up to 15 to 18 kgs is okay for them if they are underweight, if they're lower than the BMI. Now, women who are within the BMI range, anywhere between like say 10 to 12 or 12 to 15 kg is still considered to be a healthy weight gain for them. Women who are obese, anywhere between 8 to 9 kg is considered to be an optimum during the entire pregnancy. Now, this depends on person to person. So, like for example, if a client is coming to me and if I have to plan a diet for them for each trimester, I will look at it from a person from that person's current health condition, current weight, and based on that, then I can plan a diet. Because as I mentioned about the nutrients, see, these are the important nutrients which is required by all the pregnant lady, irrespective of what health conditions they have or what their current weight is, like folate and protein and iron and calcium, omega-3. Like these are the basic important nutrients. B6 are the important nutrients that is required from the pregnancy by everyone. But of course, the calorie requirement, the protein requirement, that all varies from person to person. So, and of course, the carbs also. If a person is having gestational diabetes, the carb content is extremely less for them. And we monitor it literally every single day for every meal. Like my clients who have gestational diabetes, we ask them to check their before meal sugar, and then based on that, I tell them, okay, this is what you can eat. If your sugars are under control, or if your sugars are high, then this is something that you should be avoiding. So it's very subjective, but in general, of course, you need to make sure that you're maintaining a healthy weight. You're having good nutrient fruits and vegetables. Try to avoid and stay away from junk as much as possible, because I had read a research paper that women who had consumed more junk, their children had more affinity towards those kind of food when they grew up. So, eating wholesome meal and healthy foods during your pregnancy, inshallah, will help in developing that kind of taste and affinity towards those kind of food once your baby grows.
All right. Usad is asking, what about prawns and shrimp? Is it okay? Okay, that's one question. What about prawns and shrimp? And then she's asking, is it okay if one fasts in the last month of pregnancy, which has already been answered? So let us know about prawns and shrimp.
Absolutely fine. Prawns and shrimps are absolutely fine unless a person has hypertension, because sometimes prawns are generally like they have a little bit of extra sodium compared to other women, but even so, they can still manage by reducing their overall salt intake, and they can still have prawns and shrimps.
Just make sure it's thoroughly cooked. All like
Yes, everything has to be cooked. Yes, yes.
okay. Ramesa is asking when you were talking about the sugar levels. She's asking what if the fasting is 100 and random is less than 120? Can
No, fasting has to be less than 95. It should not be 100. It has to be less than 95. The doctors that I have worked with were very, very, very strict. If the fasting was not under 95, they actually put them on insulin. So, fasting above 100, see, for a normal person, even up to 110 is considered to be okay. But when it comes to pregnancy, we don't take any chances because of the hormonal fluctuations and the developing, when the baby is developing, it's very risky, so we need to keep the levels as low as possible. So if it is 100, you need to make sure it has to come below 95. Random is not really checked during the gestational diabetes. It's more post meal after 1 hour.
okay, and can she fast with this kind of situation?
I wouldn't advise.
Right. And is iron to be taken empty stomach or with foods? Any
Empty stomach is better, along with an orange juice or maybe a fruit which is rich in vitamin C.
Mhm. And if it is causing like because I kind of know this mom, so if it is causing her more discomfort, taking it empty stomach, what foods would you advise her to take it with?
On an empty stomach, especially if it's like nausea, you're talking about iron supplement or you're talking about general nausea?
Iron supplements.
Iron supplements, see, if on an empty stomach is not, if she's not able to tolerate it on an empty stomach, she can have, say, 1 hour after lunch, and then if she wants to have another meal, then she can keep 1 more hour gap. So, say for example, if she has a lunch at 12, she can have the iron supplement around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and the next meal can be 3 or 4. So
Amazing.
basically, just keeping 1 hour gap before and after taking your iron supplement.
Excellent. Okay, my fasting is 102, 105. After 1 hour meal is 138, 135. After taking medicines, how can she control sugar levels in Ramadan? Because she is doing exercise, walking, and walking.
Okay. So 1 hour is fine. It should be less than 140, which is okay. But fasting is not fine. You need to make sure that the fasting is less than 95. You can't let the fasting go that high. Anything in three digits for women having gestational diabetes is not advisable. So make sure you talk to your doctor regarding that. Maybe you might have to adjust your nighttime medicine and or maybe start on insulin for now. And also note that anyone who takes insulin during pregnancy, they don't have to take insulin forever, or for that matter any kind of diabetes medicine. It's just to make sure that there is no negative impact on your baby's development or your blood sugar level for that matter. So it's just for a temporary period of time. Once you deliver your baby and you're maintaining a good diet and everything, you don't need the insulin, you don't need you don't need the diabetes medicine. So it's just to protect the baby. That is why the doctors don't take any chances, and that's why they're so keen on putting people on insulin, especially with GDM.
Yes, makes sense, definitely. Um, uh, and I think Nahid, you are doing one-on-one consultations, right? If anyone wants to,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
you actually tell them what to eat depending on their reading. So you are doing that.
Right. Yes, yes, we do that.
Good. So yeah, you can see her account up there, and she did share her screenshots and stuff. And I will when I'm sharing the recording of this session, I will add her contact details as well. Rumesa is asking, what should be the water intake during Ramadan, like less in suhoor and more past if futur?
See, less in suhoor, it depends. If you're awake and if you're okay in, getting up, for, going to the washroom, make sure at least you drink three glasses of water during suhoor, and the rest of the day you can manage maybe 8 to 10 glasses, depending on, how your physical activities. So if you're exercising or if you're sweating a lot, you might need additional, water because of the loss of sweat. But if you like if you're not exercising, if you're having a sedentary lifestyle, I think anywhere between 3.5 liters of water should be good enough.
Makes sense. Okay, Maha's asking, should I test for gestational diabetes and UTI in my fourth month? Let me answer that one. So, with regards to UTI, um I feel it's something that often goes undiagnosed because we don't pay attention to it and we expect very significant symptoms. Um, So in other countries, they do like a urine dipstick test at every single prenatal visit, antenatal visit. Um, so I do suggest that even if you're not showing any symptoms, it's a good idea at least every 2 months to get things checked. And if there is any symptom, to get that checked. With regards to gestational diabetes, now, Nahid, you can answer that one as well. But in general, the detailed GTT testing, it can be a modified version if you want. There is also a test called HbA1c, which shows more of the spread out of because you have been pregnant for 4 months now. So that could be more helpful. What would you recommend, Nahid?
See, ideally, the GTT test is done at the third month or the fourth month, depending from country to country, and that actually tells you whether the person is having gestational diabetes or not. So that test itself shows whether a person has gestational diabetes or not. And as for the UTI, again, apart from what Hafsa mentioned, you can also notice symptoms like itchiness. If you have a lot of itchiness, and if there is, if you feel a burning sensation in the urine, these are the common, I would say, signs to look out for UTI. Because if you are dehydrated, first thing you will notice is itchiness, and of course, you will have a lot of discharge as well. So that also is a sign of UTI. But as she mentioned, it's best to keep, get it checked every 2 months, or every prenatal visit that you do.
Fatima is asking, is it better if you fast alternate days? Yes, I would say whatever works, right? You fast, you see. If you're unable to do it, remember it's okay to break the fast if you feel your baby in danger. You can skip a day and fast. I mean, it's always easier to make up 15 fasts instead of 30, right? You could skip 2 days and fast, right? So that part is definitely self-analysis and then making that decision. There is a sister asking, I'm in my 22nd week of pregnancy. Alhamdulillah, she has no medical conditions, but my doctor has advised not to fast in order to avoid dehydration problems. But though I wish to, I would like to know best, can I moderate the intake of water during fasting? How much in quantity and when exactly? So I think that's a very similar question to what you just answered to Ramesa. Anything you wish to add?
That's it. See, you just have to maintain, watch out for your urine color. That's it. I mean, that's the only way that you will understand whether you're dehydrated or not. Apart from that, of course, if you feel a bit dizzy, or you're feeling weak, or you're having any kind of blackouts, best to avoid fasting in those states. But watch out for your water intake. Make sure that during the non-fasting hours, you drink ample amount of water, anywhere between, as I mentioned, 3 to 3.5 liter, also depending on how much your weight is. So for example, a woman who is 60 kgs or 70 kgs might need three and a half. A woman who is maybe over 90 or 100 might need a bit extra, to accommodate for, all the water need. So it all depends on your weight as well. So if you are on a higher side of the weight, maybe adding, maybe half a liter or 1 liter extra is not going to do any harm.
How much fish do you recommend for them to take in general in pregnancy or like during Ramadan?
See, again, in pregnancy, anywhere between two servings, two servings of fishes in a week is fine.
Yeah, fish is a very good source. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
it is a good source of protein as well. So, and it's a lean source of protein. Doesn't have a lot of fat. It also had good. It also has good amount of calcium. So you can get the calcium and protein from the fish.
right. Yes, good point. Two. So you're killing two birds with one stone.
Mm,
I feel dizzy and nauseous at around, said earlier when fasting during breastfeeding, was it due to dehydration? It can very well much be. Uh,
right.
yeah, dizziness is and nausea both I would be a bit concerned about there. And if you're still breastfeeding, I do have a detailed breastfeeding fasting workshop. What is the best diet do you recommend for pregnant moms?
High protein, high calcium, high iron.
He's asking specifically in suhoor time, sorry.
Oh, for suhoor, complex carbs so that the sugar levels are maintained. Complex carbs include your chapati, whole grains, or pulses, and adding a good source of protein along with that. Eggs are usually well tolerated for suhoor, but if you're okay in having chicken or mutton or fish, I mean that's also a good option. You can add paneer, you can add your yogurt for your breakfast, but it has to be like quantified based on your current requirement.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. My baby is 7 months old. I had hypertension in postpartum. Oh, okay. But now my BP is on the lower side mostly. If I fast, can I take ORS after iftar so that hydration is maintained? Not
Um, Sorry. Can you read that again? I didn't get it.
That she had hypertension postpartum,
Okay.
and her baby
Okay.
is months old now.
Okay.
Now her BP is on the lower side. So
Okay.
fast, can she take ORS, like, to, the electrolytes after,
Uh,
to help?
mhm. Yes, you can take ORS, but I would advise check your BP before opening your fast, because sometimes we feel it's a bit on a lower side, but just by looking at the symptoms, but it could just be low sugar levels, because the symptoms are quite similar. Your low blood pressure and low sugar levels are quite similar. So check your BP before fasting, because if you have had a history of hypertension postpartum, and even though your blood pressure is still normal, that means your body has the tendency to increase the blood pressure levels, but unless and until you don't monitor it, and you will not know it. And unfortunately for hypertension, people don't really understand or even know that they have high blood pressure unless they check it, because the symptoms are very subtle, like headaches and just bit of dizziness, which we brush it off as if it's nothing, because headache is like a regular thing. We don't really take it as an important symptom. So it's important, especially if you've had a history of hypertension, you should monitor your blood pressure before fasting, at least for a couple of days, so that you can have a basic idea whether your pressure is actually low or it's normal. And then accordingly you can take a call. So if your pressure is very low, then yes, ORS can be a good option. But if your pressure is not low, then there is no need for ORS. So you can just have fresh fruit juices, and you can just have good amount of water.
I have a recipe of homemade ORS, which is basically water with lemon or orange juice, some
Mhm.
salt and honey. That can be a nice, or you could add date syrup, like homemade dates. That could be a nice one. Nabis and these things can be very beneficial, inshallah. Is it normal that when we take iron, stool gets green colored? I think that's normal. Uh, your body.
It is normal to see green, but it's also normal to see black stool, because I mean, green is more I've seen with people who, especially like children, and also people who've had like something green in their diet. Like if you've had a lot of green leafy vegetables, then you'll probably see. But if you're having iron supplement, and if you're seeing your green, like the stool green consistently, then better to get it checked with a doctor. It could be some sort of infection, we don't know, but just it's better to get it checked with a doctor. Black, because black stool is common to see with iron supplements, but not the green. To be honest, green is usually seen in children with iron supplement, but not with adults, unless they're having something which is green in color.
Okay. Is it compulsory to have supplements if you're following a healthy diet? I would suggest, and then Nahid can add on to this. Check for deficiencies, right? Is your diet good enough to fulfill something you're deficient on? And repeat the test and see if it's improving after you've made changes. If not, then you might need to consider it. And the kind of supplements as well. Anything you want to add, Nahid?
See, to be honest, in my experience, I would say supplement. I would advise for supplement, especially for pregnant women, because when it comes to child or pregnancy, usually the doctors, or even like for us, we don't like to take any kind of chances, because iron deficiency and also calcium deficiency, for that matter, can affect both you and and your baby. And with the food is that, although we do eat healthy food, and we ensure that we're getting good amount of nutrients, but how much of it is getting absorbed in the body, it's very subjective. We don't know whether, like for example, calcium absorption, so it can range between 30 to 50%. Like even if you're having 100% RD of calcium, the body might not absorb like 100% of it. The body might just absorb 50%, the body might just absorb 30%, depending on what you're eating it with. So, and especially for pregnancy, like see, on a normal days, I would say yes, try to have a balanced meal, then there's no need for supplement. But when it comes to pregnancy, we generally say at least the basic nutrients that is needed, that is your calcium, your iron, and your omega 3. Omega 3 can be optional in the last trimester, because if you are having like omega 3 rich fishes, or say for example like salmon and all, then you don't need the omega 3 supplement. You can manage it through the diet. But iron and calcium, if you know that you might not eat these foods that much, or you're not getting enough nutrients, then better to have the supplement rather than going into any kind of deficiency, just to be on a safer side.
About blood pressure, if it's like 135 and 77 to 80, is that fine?
No, the systolic is a bit on a higher side. It should be less than 120. The diastolic is still okay.
Yeah. All right. There is a range of that, and I think sometimes because of the increased blood volume, it can be on the higher side, but yeah, I would definitely keep a check on that part as well. Deveda is asking how to keep yourself hydrated if you don't like the taste of water and it's causing nausea. That's tough.
Uh, you can have look, you have these infused water. You can have that. You can put a bit of lemon in it and you can drink it. You can have, I would say, like smoothies. You can even increase your water intake by having soups if you're not comfortable with water. So maybe like a bowl of soup, which is around 400, 500 ml, at least that will help you cut off that extra allowance of water. So you can have soup. You can also have fruits which are high in moisture, like watermelons. You have musk melons. You have oranges. These are also hydrating enough, so you can at least get a couple of, I would say, 100 200 ml of water from there. But if you don't like the taste of water, I understand. You can have it in sips. Like, see, it's not necessary that you have one glass of water every 1 hour. You can take it in sips, or you can just you can make it in like an ice cube and just put it in your mouth and let it melt by its own, so you won't feel that you're drinking water. So you can do that. Fruit juices are also a good option if you don't have any underlying health issue. You can make fresh fruit juices at home and you can drink that. That is also like a good way to increase your hydration and your water intake. But just by, I would say adding a little bit of honey and, a bit of like those infused water, I think they usually taste well. You can add a bit of chia seed also in the water to give you that kind of bulk, and you won't feel like you're drinking water. It's more like a smoothie.
Mm. Yeah, also, personally, me, I liked slushies more, so popsicles and slushies. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that was nice. Yeah, and detox water with mint and plum and
Right, right. Like all those kind of infused water where you put all the you cucumbers and kiwis and oranges, that will help in giving you a different kind of taste.
yeah, inshallah. I hope that would make it easier because water is very, very crucial. All right, I think it's the 1 hour mark as well. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, Nahid. It's been eye-opening. And ladies, Nahid does do one-on-one consultations online. So if you want to be very specific and take her guidance as the consultant in this topic, so she can help monitor, especially if you have certain conditions like GDM and hypertension and stuff, I would definitely have that
Mm.
person personalized um a direct approach, direct support and coaching, inshallah. No,
Sure.
chia seeds is not tukhmalanga. Chia seeds, it's separate. I don't know what it is in Urdu. Tukhmalanga is basil seeds, right? And they both have
Mhm.
separate values. And what's the best way of having flax seeds and chia seeds? You can have them in smoothies, you can grind them and add them on your salads. You can make chia puddings. um I would do flax seeds powder in your dough when you're making bread as well. Any other ideas you have?
You can just have like a mukwas, post meal, how you have soft and like fennel seeds. You can just add it in that after roasting it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good idea. That's nice. Okay, chia seeds are تقمة شربتي. Okay, that's something new I learned today. Thank you. So I did not know that word. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can add exactly to date balls, to cookies, all these things, porridge. Excellent ideas. Yep, sprinkle it. Seeds just add a lot of nutritional value on.
You can blend the flaxseed even in the regular atta that you make for chapatis and rotis. You can add that in your rotis as well, the powder, while you're kneading it.
Yeah, that's how I make it to my kids. No, I don't make the roti. I do the pizza dough and stuff like that. I mix it into that. Otherwise, they would know, like they wouldn't even know when my kids are taking it. So alhamdulillah. Yep, so many ideas. Thank you so much. And I will share her contact details on our main WhatsApp groups, the two event groups, so that you guys can reach out to Nahid. Anything you want to add before I say a few closing words?
I mean, I'm open to all questions. Any doubts or anything that you have, you can ask me now or, later on, no problem. I'll be more than happy to help you.
May Allah bless you for doing this, putting together this session for us, and blessing us with your expertise and knowledge in this. And lots of du'as. You got special du'as for moms, and
Thank you.
make this Ramadan most fruitful for all of us. It is
Ameen.
we're anticipating and waiting for, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And I just want mamas to know that, like I said, you are in a constant state of ibadah, right? I want you guys to understand that the fact that you're taking care of your baby, you're nourishing and nurturing the baby, every step, every breath you're taking, every hardship you're enduring, it's full of ajr. And in Ramadan, this ajr is multiplied, subhanallah, right? I should ask you, pregnant moms, to make dua for us, right?
Right.
This fact that being pregnant in the blessed month of Ramadan itself is such a huge blessing. So let's be thankful for that. Let's try our best. There, the ayah of the Quran, Shahru Ramadan in Surah Al-Baqarah, it has a part which I absolutely love. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر. Allah wants to make it easy and not hard, right? So, yes, you have the ease of skipping it. See if you can do it. If you can't, at any point it gets difficult, if it's getting threatening for you or your baby, alhamdulillah, you have the ease. And then we are like, oh, but later on fasting without the family members, all of that, it's going to be difficult. Well, maybe you can add fasting gradually when the days are shorter. With my blessed moms, the one that have taken the Blessed Start course with me, I made a separate group for us to help each other, encourage each other to make up the fasts as well, right? Um, it is okay. Right now, priority is your health and your baby's health. And you can make it like making up the fast can be easy as well if you just do Mondays and Thursdays, or if you just do the white days, ayam al-bayt, you do the Zilhijj days, so you can spread it out, or the shorter days during winter days. So it's okay. It can be done, and you will be able to do it. And there's so much more you can reap out of Ramadan. Recite Quran loudly, your baby can hear you. Any good deeds you're doing, making dua for your child, the iftar time, the tahajjud time, all these timings are so special. Make dua for yourself, for your baby, for your birth. So don't forget the spiritual essence of it as well, bi'iznillah. All right, and yes, this session is recorded. I will be uploading it onto my YouTube. Okay. And those of you that are pregnant and have not yet taken the childbirth education classes, my next group starting right after Eid, and the registrations have already opened, and mashallah, there is moms signing up already. So you don't want to miss out on those. So inshallah, these classes are comprehensive classes with support and ongoing support beyond the classes as well. These are the topics we cover: pregnancy, nutrition, exercise, pain management techniques, mother's needs in pregnancy and birth, birthing instinct, making informed decisions, birthing positions, doctor shopping tips and tricks, stages of labor, role of hormones, writing your birth plan, birth team roles, protecting the birth environment, how to make labor easier, true complications and common interventions, and then postpartum and breastfeeding as well as for VBAC moms. Any of you that have had one or more C-sections, I have a special component because I'm a VBAC mom myself, and it has all of these extra add-ons with it. So inshallah, the first Tuesday after Eid is when our first class starts. You don't want to miss out on it. Sign up from now so you can start getting the support from now. You can start getting the material from now. You can message me, you can contact me to register. Those of you that are breastfeeding or know anyone that's breastfeeding, I have a comprehensive Ramadan workshop, which has an ongoing support throughout Ramadan, as well as a recipe book for lactating moms. All of this is included. This workshop happened last week, but the recording is available for purchase for anyone that wants it. Alhamdulillah, and it is one of my favorite workshops, and inshallah, mashallah, it has produced excellent results. So yeah, I hope inshallah this can be beneficial for those that can need it. All right, Jazakumullahu khairan. I think that brings us just to the end of this. A special thank you to you, Nahid. Yatik al and inshallah, you mamas can benefit from Nahid's specialty and specialization to and get any more one-on-one support that you need. Lumesa is saying, I would encourage moms to sign up for the birth classes. She was in my big group that just finished on Thursday, mashallah, and it's been an amazing group, mashallah. So yeah, inshallah, the next talk will be in Ramadan, and it is going to be about postpartum and fitness. I already have a speaker on board. So I look forward to seeing you guys at episode number 7. Thank you so much for everyone being here today. يعطيكم العافية. جزاكم الله خير. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. Don't forget me, especially you pregnant mamas. In Ramadan, I need your du'as. And don't forget me during your labor. Your du'as are mustajab. Thank you so much. And thank you very much, Nahid.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great session, Hafsa.
جزاكم الله خيرا يأتيكم العافية سلام سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفر ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته
وعليكم السلام.